So in this video we're going to talk about percent of change, and this is the first part of the section 6.7. So what is a percent of change? It's a percent of change indicates how much a quantity increases or decreases with respect to the original amount. So it's saying how much did something change? How much did it increase or decrease? So for example, maybe there's a really good discount on your favorite shirt that you want to buy. That'd be a big percent of change because there's a big decrease in the price. So what's a percent of increase? The percent of change in a quantity when the new amount of the quantity is greater or bigger than the original amount. And then what's the percent of decrease? Well, it's just the opposite. It's the percent of change in a quantity when the new amount of the quantity is less than the original amount. So percent of increase means it goes up. Percent of decrease means it goes down. So what is the formula then for percent of change? How do we figure out how much exactly something is going up or down? So the percent of change, we'll call it P, is equal to the amount of increase or decrease divided by, that's what this fraction bar means, the original amount. And the way we get the amount of increase or decrease is you're always going to take the bigger number minus the smaller number. So bigger minus smaller, that's how we're going to tell if there's an increase or decrease. So let's look at an example. Finding a percent of increase. So it says Planet Fitness had 720 members enroll last year. This year, 745 members enrolled. By about what percent did the number of people change from last year to this year? So maybe you're a business person, you're the owner of Planet Fitness, and you want to see how your numbers are doing, like how much did enrollment increase by, because you want to crunch some numbers and see how your business is doing. So to find P, the percent, we're going to take, so originally there were 720, now there's 745. So we have to do the amount of increase or decrease. So you're going to take the bigger number minus the smaller number, which is 745 minus 720. Divide that by the original amount. Now this is the first amount. So like what did Planet Fitness originally have, or how many members? 720. So I'm going to use order of operations and do what's on top first, because when I have a fraction bar, it's kind of like, with the numerator and denominator, it's almost like there's grouping symbols here. You do the numerator and denominator first, and then you divide. So this is going to be equal to 745 minus 720 is 25. And then I have to divide that by 720. So when I type that in a calculator, I get 0.035. Now remember, when you type this in the calculator, you have to press Control-Enter to get a decimal. Control-Enter. That's going to give you your decimal form of the answer. Okay, so now this is a decimal. I need to change it to a percent because I'm looking for a percent. So to change a decimal to a percent, we're going to scooch this decimal place over 2 places. So it's actually going to be 3.5%. And then you want to, after that percent, you want to say whether there was an increase or decrease. And since the amount of people went up, I'm going to say there was a 3.5% increase. And that would be my answer. Okay, next one says find the percent of increase from 14 to 24. Okay, so this is a completely different problem. I want to see what's the percent of increase from 14 to 24. Okay, I'm going to use the same formula. So remember, do bigger minus smaller, so 24 minus 14 over the original. Now the original is the first number. So from 14 to 24 means it started at 14. So that's going to be our original. Then I'm going to do 24 minus 14. That's 10 divided by 14. Again, type in 10 divided by 14, Control-Enter in the calculator, and that's going to give you your decimal to be about 0.7143-ish. And then when I change that to a percent, I'm going to scooch the decimal 2 places over. So I end up with 71.43%. Now, from 14 to 24, that was an increase because it got bigger. So I'm going to put the word increase after. And that's the percent of change. Okay, next one says, find the percent of decrease from 576 to 216. Okay, same formula, bigger minus smaller. So this time I'm going to do 576 minus 216 divided by the original. The original number from 576 means 576 is the original. So 576 minus 216 is 360. You could use a calculator for that if you wanted to. And then I have to divide that by 576. When I type that in a calculator, press Control Enter. I'm going to get 0.625, which when I switch it to a decimal to a percent by scooching my decimal, I get 62.5%. Now this number decreased. It went from a bigger number to a smaller number. So I'm going to put the word decrease after that. Okay? And that completes part 1.